All right, so we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got Harrison talking about when does a solar system make sense? And we also got Capital One, Qualcomm, and Knight Swift coming up for the company. Stay with us. You're listening to Smart Investing Show with Brent and Chase. Alrighty, welcome back to Smart Investing Show. I'm Brent Wilsey, president of Wilsey Asset Management. With me and Chase is Harrison Johnson, our financial planner. He's a CFP. Harrison, this is something that I don't want to say I'm surprised about it because I know that the credits are leaving, but maybe that's why it's so important to talk about. Is when does a solar system make sense? Because we think, oh yeah, no matter what, it makes sense, and maybe that's not the case.
It's definitely not the case. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I think a lot of people out there, when it comes to reducing their monthly bill, they almost don't care how much it's going to cost up front. Yeah, I'm going to install solar no matter what the cost, and then that's going to save me $100 a month or $500 a month or whatever it is. How much is it costing to get that? And so with solar, you can buy solar, you can lease solar, or you can do nothing. Doing nothing is an option as well, and sometimes that's the right thing to do. Buying potentially makes sense, if you're using a lot of electricity, obviously, but like myself, I don't use a lot of electricity at my house, so solar wouldn't really be that helpful for me. But if your bill is $500, $1,000, $1,500 a month in electricity, some type of solar system might make sense. So you have to be using a lot of electricity. This is kind of an important time because the 30% federal tax credit is expiring at the end of the year. So this is kind of the last time to get that 30% credit. When you buy solar, if you finance that with a mortgage or a HELOC, you can write off the interest. So that might give you some tax benefits on the itemized side if you're able to itemize. So, and that also means you don't have to shell out, $50,000, $70,000 up front if you're able to finance it. And that means hopefully the loan payment that you have then is less than what the savings were for what you were paying for the electricity. So it's just an immediate benefit starting out. When you put a solar system on your house, it does increase the value, but maybe not potentially as much as the cost of the system, which is why it's better if you're then going to be in the house for a long time so you can recoup that investment of installing the system. And then lastly, in California, if you buy a solar system, you almost need to have a battery. A couple years ago, California changed the way the grid works with solar, and it's kind of crazy because if you have a solar system, but if you don't have a battery, basically what happens is during the day, when the sun is out, you're generating power and you're selling that to the grid. And the grid buys that from you or gives you credits based on essentially the value of the power at that time. So since you would be selling power from your solar panels to the grid at the same time that everybody else is selling power to the grid, there's this huge supply of power at that time of day. And also everybody is, at work or out and about doing stuff, so there's not a lot of demand. So when you sell power to the grid, you get almost nothing for it. And then at nighttime, when you come home and you actually need the power, if you don't have a battery reserve, then you have to buy it from the grid at a price that's 4, 5 times, 6 times more than what you sold it to the grid, earlier that day. So having a battery allows you to generate the power during the day and then use it at night when power is really most expensive. But batteries to get are expensive. It didn't used to be like that. So now that kind of added an extra cost if you're going to go and buy a system. So if you're not going to be in the house for a long time, or if that doesn't necessarily make sense, then leasing could make sense. There's not an initial upfront expenditure or investment. It's just now you're leasing these panels, and that lease payment generally is less than what you were paying for electricity before. So you might save $100, $200 a month without any initial investment required. But with that, it doesn't increase the value of your home generally. There's no tax credit that you get involved, and it can present a problem if you ever go to sell the house because the buyer essentially has to qualify and assume that that lease agreement for the solar panels. So in some cases, it's best to do nothing if you're not planning on being in the house for a long time, or if you don't use a lot of electricity, then doing nothing might be the right thing to do, actually.
And maybe there's something, I got a bunch of thoughts in my head here, but maybe there's something that you can compute out saying, okay, if you're in the house for 7 years, that's your break even. So that's something that maybe you can do to say.
It's something that I do because I've got a lot of people that have done solar, and every situation is different based on how much power they use, how much surface area they have on their roof and how much power they could generate, what the cost of the system for that house, given the demand that they're going to be using is, which influences the credit they're going to get, what they can qualify as far as financing and how much equity they have in their house and what, terms like that are. So there's, it's not like, okay, well, 7 years is the break even. For some person, it might be a lot sooner than that. For some person, it might be longer than that, which means they probably wouldn't want to do it. So it depends on the situation. But, for some people, buying is better. Some people, leasing is better. Some people, nothing is better.
And the other thing, too, I mean, that I look at doing, there's other things you can do, like LED lighting. I mean, it's very cheap now. Replace all your lights with LED. Your washing machine, your dishwasher, many times have timers. Well, find out when the off-peak hours are. I think it's like midnight or something.
4 to 9 is usually when stuff is most expensive.
So
midnight to 6 a.m. is usually the cheapest time, or weekends a lot of time up until like 2 in the afternoon is cheap. So all, washing clothes, dishwasher, all of that extra stuff really should be done like Saturday, Sunday before 2 o'clock, and that's the cheapest.
Well, and again, our dishwasher has a 6-hour timer. So if you want to start at 1 o'clock in the morning, you can.
Yeah,
So there's things you can do that may be a lot less expensive than buying a whole solar system if you don't have LED lighting in your house. And I bought my house. It's leased. The solar systems, I'm not really thrilled with it because I hate the company. They keep, your payment's due in 5 days. Like, I know it. Just leave me alone. Sign up for automatic payments. I don't want to sign up for, I mean, they're very annoying.
So. I was going to say the big thing with the battery, I remember looking at this, probably sometime last year, but I remember the state of California, we were generating too much power. So not only did we sell the power to Arizona, we paid Arizona to take the power from us.
Remember that.
And it's like, gosh, if we could just figure out the grid, we wouldn't need this stupid battery. And it's like, it just drives up the cost of solar. And it's like, they want everybody to have solar, but we haven't figured out the infrastructure. So now I have to buy this battery, which I think the batteries are...
It's expensive.
Yeah.
It's,
Like
I mean,
30 grand comes to my head. Does that sound right?
Depending on
You
how
might
many,
need 2 batteries.
you might need 2 batteries. So yeah, I mean, it can be $1,000.
So I was looking at solar, and the quote I had to maintain the power that I'd generate and use would I need 2 batteries.
Really? Your house is what?
2,300 square feet.
2,300 square feet. Wow. So I might need 3 or 4 batteries.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But again, I mean, those things are expensive. Now, the batteries also qualify for that 30% credit, so you get help out on that, but that's ending this year. So, buying a solar system is about to get a whole lot more expensive in 2 months. And I mean, even right now, I'm sure that there's a bunch of solar companies that are booked out because a lot of people are trying to do this before the end of the year. So it's going to get more expensive.
Well, I almost do wonder if, because I've wondered this with EVs too, when that credit goes away, well, that's going to distort the market.
Yeah.
Because there's an artificial demand right now.
Right.
So you might see prices fall. Now, are they going to fall to the break even of your 30% credit? Probably not, but you're probably not going to, let's say I'm going to use the number $70,000. Well, it's probably not going to fall 30% next year below 70,000, but it might fall 10, 15%.
I definitely think that's true because everybody who wants to do it is doing it right now. So that means, only people that buy new houses that don't have solar or, whatever, they're going to be in the market potentially to do it, which will decrease the demand substantially.
So Harrison, you are a fee-based planner. So if somebody calls up and say, hey, I've been buying a solar system. Do you work the numbers? Do you go through this stuff with them?
Absolutely. Go through the numbers and say, yes, you should buy it, or yes, you should lease it. And then if you are going to buy it, this is the best way to finance it, or, it's best not to do it at all. Another thing, you get the credit. So I had somebody earlier this year who installed a solar system, and now we can basically assume that they're going to have this large federal tax credit. So we basically stopped withholdings on their payroll throughout the year. So now instead of getting, a large, refund at the beginning of next year, now they're basically getting that tax benefit all of this year. So there's different things you can do to, make sure that it makes sense. And then, even if it does make sense, there's different ways of going about doing it, and you want to make it as efficient as you can.
Maybe take that cash flow, put it into your 401k, maybe get another tax deduction.
Actually, that's what we did. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. All right. Well, Harrison, thank you very much. Again, that is Harrison Johnson. He is our financial planner. He is a CFP. If you want to talk to him, give him a call at the office, 858-224-0004. Again, that's 858-224-0004. Or go to the website, smartinvesting2000.com. Again, that's smartinvesting2000.com. You send an email, and you can talk to them that way and get that free consultation as well if you want to.